Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to some more Hearts of Iron 4 Equestria at War, episode 11 with our Sombra playthrough. So you'll see that I'm moving around on the screen here, but there's something I got to tell you guys, and that is that I am recording this audio that you are listening to right now post the video you see. So obviously, things I'm doing in the video right now are not interacting with things that I'm talking about. And the reason for that is because somehow I have been cursed. And the audio I recorded, or my voice anyways, I record my voice in the gameplay on two separate programs so I can clean up my voice really well. And the program that I used to record my voice failed me and corrupted my file. So I have no voice track to go with the gameplay. So I am going to post commentary this game and go off of that. And I'm not going to do the entire video because I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend I know what's going on, because I definitely don't. So I'm going to do it in pieces. But you can see that Stalingrad did declare war on us, and that was probably the most important thing to take from this, was them declaring war on us and pushing on towards the Crystal City. I mean, ultimately, we were doing really good, right? We were pushing on Equestria. We're causing a lot of headaches against Equestria. And we were actually, for the most part, winning the war. And then Stalingrad kicks in my front door, and now they're pushing to the Crystal City. So that's going to be extremely hard for us to combat, and I'm not entirely sure how we're going to do it. But I'm going to go ahead and cut here. We're going to go to the most important parts of the video, and then we'll see where that leaves us. All right, and moving forward, you can see that Queen Chrysalis here actually did accept the marriage, so that was pretty cool. Because originally we had not gotten the alliance, but this is an interesting turning point for us in the game. Because now what's going to happen is it's going to bond us through an alliance regardless. So it was kind of us fighting Equestria and the Changelings fighting Equestria, and now hopefully both of us fighting Equestria at the same time. That's kind of what I wanted it to turn into, especially because she had not accepted the alliance. Also, you can see that somehow a bunch of the text was cut off, and I wasn't very happy about it. If you do want to read this, you could pause and read it. But yeah, so we accepted that. That's going to kind of change everything in terms of how the war moves forward. So we'll go ahead and we'll find another spot here where it advances. All right, and I just want to take a few seconds to highlight how bad the Stalingrad situation was actually getting. You can see where Crystal City is there, and they actually started forming this sort of pocket where they had pushed up. And by now the Changelings have gone into an alliance with us, and now we're both at war with Equestria, and we're at war with Stalingrad. So this is a good thing for us for one big reason, and that is that the Stalingrad border was an extremely weak border for us. We did not have enough troops on the border. But now, with the Changelings also at war with Stalingrad, they're actually sending troops through my country to help reinforce the Stalingrad border. You can see those troops moving on through there. But that still hadn't stopped Stalingrad from actually pushing up forward with their armies. I don't know if I mentioned it too, but you can see the Red Army. I had to shift them around and put them on the Stalingrad border and keep just the Blue Army there holding the border, because the Stalingrad was pushing so hard I was afraid they were going to get to Crystal City, and I want to make sure I stopped them. So we're now just barely holding Stalingrad back, and we've got the Changelings coming up, and there you go. You can see Equestria's capitulation's way off still, but the Changelings there finally sending reinforcements there to help us out, so hopefully that's going to help, and a couple other people joining the war there. Alright, and so now moving forward, Stalingrad has managed to punch that hole into my border, and they've started expanding within that hole. They're actually encircling troops there, both some of my troops and I think a little bit of Changeling troops mixed in there as well. All in all, it's looking really bad with Stalingrad pushing up on that border there. I'm doing all I can to force them back and hold them off. You can see I'm moving some troops around here. I'm moving some generals around. I think at this point I was actually redoing everybody's orders because I was going to get a field marshal here. Let me see. I'm clearly having... Yeah, there we go. I'm trying to redraw the border. Yeah, I didn't promote. I was waiting for the political power to promote somebody. You can see up at the top left-hand corner of the screen, I've got -7 political power. That's why I don't have a field marshal in that army. I have them in a group together because I'm trying to keep them organized, but I don't have a field marshal for them because without the political power, I cannot promote one of my generals to a field marshal and then get another general. So right now I was redrawing the borders. I'm trying to contain that pocket and stop it from reaching Crystal City. My hope was that if I redrew the borders, I could get some units entrenched and get a couple different entrenchment bonuses so we can start trying to rack up a little bit of defense. But you can see that they pushed pretty hard. Meanwhile, on the Equestrian border, it's going pretty well for us on the Equestrian border. It's going to be whether or not the Stalingrad border collapses, deciding if we win or lose. At this point, we reached a little bit of a stall with Equestria because of the Stalingrad border, the front there moving up on us towards Crystal City. I just started stalling on the Equestrian border because I had such a hard time managing both of them and making it work out. So you can see that there's a lot of empty spaces on the Equestrian border. Trying to make those work is really what was tough. When you start getting pockets like this, and the enemy just keeps shoving troops through there, and they just keep filling that pocket, it's really, really hard to close that sometimes. And I wanted to try to encircle all those units, but it was tough. Actually, looking down here, and interesting to note, you can see the changelings really struggling to advance on Equestria either. So this was like a major point in the game where I started realizing that we might lose because the changelings are struggling to advance down there in southern Equestria. They've dedicated so many troops to trying to protect my borders from Stalingrad that their borders are now collapsing. I mean, you can see there the Stalingrad pocket just getting worse and worse as they continue to expand. The only thing that stopped them from expanding farther south and severing the rest of my army from the other side of the Crystal Empire was those forts that I had preemptively built several episodes ago to stop the Equestria from being able to shotgun to Crystal City. So, as funny as it sounds, those forts down there actually ended up being a lifesaver here because the Stalingrad hit those forts, and now they can't get past those forts because those units are so defended. They can't get past those forts to cut off the rest of my army. So, funny, and it's funny how that worked to my advantage. I never would have thought that those forts would come back into play after I had pushed the Equestrian border so far, the front that is. I figured that they would have been a waste, but they did come in handy. Still, though, Crystal City very, very vulnerable at this particular point. So we'll go ahead and fast forward through some more here. All right, so looking at the border there, not looking too good for the changelings. I did get a new national focus. I think it was for increasing magical studies, so I could get the magical bonuses a lot quicker. Now I'm kind of deciding between the Grey Pact, War on Stalingrad, but we're already at war with them, so that's going to be a free one. I should have picked it up, but I didn't. I don't know what I was thinking. Because I don't pick it up here. I actually ended up going for Dark Crystals, which we'll see in a second. Maybe just went there for the juicy bonuses. So I figured the bonuses would help us out. I actually wanted to go for the artillery right below it, which is why I picked it up. But we've already got that slot filled for political power. I didn't even realize it. So you can see there a lot of those magical weapons going down. I'm trying to switch out artillery for magical weapons because we're just hurting. I'm moving some of the... Or I'm actually putting some new factories down. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to... really trying to bolster up our supply lines. Actually, you know what the national focus I got was? I'm sorry, I actually got the 4 factories, I think it was, the war effort there. So that gave us 4 additional military factories, and that was me putting them down. You can see our air game not doing as well. So I actually ended up bumping up air production as well a little bit, which isn't a bad thing. We do have some equestrian troops, actually a good chunk of equestrian troops surrounded there and encircled. So we're going to try and make an effort to destroy those troops and get the bonuses. But look at that Stalingrad bubble. It's grown a lot, and it's right outside Crystal City now. And you can see that they've also almost severed that southern portion. Still, the forts being the only thing that's holding them back. Meanwhile, Equestria is pushing back. They've actually pushed us back a little bit there on that front. But we're still kind of winning the Equestrian War. But the Changelings have lost a lot of provinces down there in the bottom because the Equestrians are actually pushing them out of their lands now. Primarily because the Changeling forces are so wrapped up between fighting the war with Equestria and Stalingrad at the same time. Not a whole lot that can help us. The only good thing to take away from what's going on right now is, believe it or not, there's a lot of green bubbles here. So we are defending. Now that troops have gotten into their positions, Stalingrad has actually lost some steam. They're hitting a little bit of a wall here, and they're not able to advance. So my forces with the Changeling forces definitely putting up a really good defense right now and trying to prevent Stalingrad from reaching the Crystal City. But I don't know, it's still looking pretty bad. And we can actually see that even though I'm doing a really good job of holding, and there's a lot of green bubbles where I'm defending, there's a lot of red bubbles where I'm trying to attack. And yeah, infantry equipment there and magical equipment not looking too good either. And I'm sure I'm going off about something really important right now, but I could not remember what. And Equestria, they're pushing up. They're actually trying to sever all those units. They're getting really close to doing that. So you can see I've actually got units attacking into that. I'm trying to stop them from encircling all those units down there. So not good. We'll go ahead and see what's next, though. All right, and so here we are. We're actually at the end of the video because I've kind of cut out some of the boring spots or spots that I wasn't really sure what the heck I was doing. But you can see here where we're at. Stalingrad has just pushed us all the way back to the Crystal City, but we've managed to finally build a front and hold it. So we are holding this front right now, but we're not advancing. Nobody's advancing. We are advancing a little bit in the Equestrian border, but you can start to see equestrian what would it be? Tendrils or whatever. They're kind of tentacling, I guess, into my area. So they're starting to push back. You see that? They're actually starting to kind of push back there. And then looking down at the Changelings, Changelings getting pushed back as well. So this is looking really, really grim. Really dire. Still not over. There's a huge possibility this could turn around. It's on the edge of a knife right now. It could fall either way. There's a lot that can go on. Stalingrad has ran out of steam. Somebody capitulated there. I don't even know who it was. Yeah, some person over there had nothing to do with us. Stalingrad is running out of steam. They're stopped. They can't get through anymore with the entrenchment bonuses. They can't get through the mountain, so the whole mountain range is protected. And I've bolstered so many troops, and then that mountain range to the south they can't get through. So it's just trying to get through Crystal City, and I filled that whole area between Crystal City and the Stalingrad with forces so that they can't get through. So this is anybody's game at this point. We'll have to wait and see where it goes, especially with the Changelings there starting to collapse on their front. Still could go either way, but it's hard to say. Either way, thank you all for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. I apologize for this being a little bit shorter of an episode just because of the nature of it. Hopefully I don't ever have to do this again because it was awful. I hate post-commentary. Well, with that being said, though, I want to thank you all for joining me. Hope that you did enjoy it, and I look forward to seeing you next time.